Okay, we're up to Nedarim Daf Lamed Vav. We're learning Leil Nishmas Yaakov ben Sion ben Mordechai. Yaakov ben Sion ben Mordechai was Nifta. So the Bible was today. BZ Weiss, a very well-known MC, Badchin, a person who was full of life, a person who gave to others. He was a board member in Pasuk Park Yeshiva. I learned with him Bechavusi. So more importantly, he was in the Maggid Shir Daf Yomi. For a year, we spent every Sunday chazering 7 blot. We chazed the week together. He was a very special person. He's sorely missed. I'm still in shock. That he's not here. And the schus of shir, the Torah, a schus of our share and his share should be milat in Shemayim, should be milat his neshama at Kisi HaKavod. Yaakov ben Sion ben Mordechai. Okay, we did a sugi yesterday, and we want to know whether the Kahanim are shluchei d'shmaya or shluchei didon. In other words, what is the job of the Kohen? The Kohen goes ahead and he does your shlichus. When he's doing that, is he doing shlichus for you, or he's doing what Hashem's job? He's doing what Hashem wanted. If you could just go one seat over, be good, right there, right? Or he's doing what Hashem wanted. And we want to be patient from our Mishnah. We said obviously that he's bringing karbanos. The person's mudahana, and you can be in karbanos. You can be in kinei zavim, zavais, chatas, vashamais, and we said that's chatas mitzayras and asham mitzayra. In other words, the Mishnah, if it really said that shluchi de shemaya, it should have said kol karbanos. Why did it pick those specific karbanos? All the mechusik kipara, because you don't need shlichus for that. Because you don't need das. You can bring it for another person. We learn out from Zayis Tarzava for the cotton. A cotton doesn't have das. So we would try to be patient. It remained in a bayit of shita based upon our Gemara, whether the kahanim are shluchei d'shmaya, shluchei didan. That's based upon our Gemara. But there is a Gemara in Kiddushin that clearly states it's shluchei d'shmaya, and really our Gemara is a moot point. So I'd like to share with you a ran. It's a short ran. It's on Lamed Hey Amid Beis. Lamed Hey Amid Beis. Where on the right side, the second line down, it says Gemara Iboylahu Hani Kahane Shluchei Didan Hein. Afal Gab the Perikamet Kedushin in the first Perik Kedushin Asik Rav Huna the Shluchei Derachman Anenu. Rav Huna concludes unequivocally, with no question, that it's Shluchim of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Why, guys? Disal Kedaitach Shluchei Didan Enu Mi Ikamidi. Is there anything that we can't do and they can do? Pirish. When we say shlucha shladim kamoso, this person's acting on your behalf. There is no kahanim here. All we could do is shchita. Beyond shchita, the kabbalah halachas rika, we can't do the avodah. So how can you possibly think that the kahanim are our shluchim? We can't do it. Yes. So what's the whole Gemara then? Freg Duran, what's the whole Gemara? In other words, we know the answer to the question. In Kedushin and in Yuma, we went ahead and concluded that what? It's Shluchei Drachmana. Yeah? So listen to what the Ran says. He says this is something fascinating. So here's what the Gemara wants to do. Afilu hachi, boy hacha lemifshita mimasnisan oy mibraisa. We wanted to replace the Shaila from a Tanoic source. Rav Huna is Dach Amayra and Amayra. We wanted a better source. The Gemara's shaila here is: do we have a Hanoic source, be it in a Mishnah or a Brisa, as to be placed at the shaila whether it's Shluchei Derachmana or Shluchei Didan? But in fact, we knew all along that what it's Shluchei Derachmana, right? It's Shluchei Derachmana, as it says in the Gemara in Kedushin, because again, it's a Pashtus Svara, right? It's a Pashtus Svara. You can't do it. That he's going to be a shliach, so it's a Pashtus Svara. So that is just a loose end I wanted to. Okay, now where did we know that Mechusah Kippurim? Where do we know Mechusah Kippurim does not need does not pass? We learned it from cotton. The Zayis Taras is Zav, right? Zava. We said that a cotton, just like you can bring a carbon for a cotton because the cotton doesn't have any das. So what do you see? Any Mechusim don't need das. So once any Mechusah Kippurim does not need das, you don't need shlichus. Shlichus is you're acting upon that person's behalf. If you don't need his behalf, you can do whatever you want. That's the aside over here. So let's go back and now examine it for itself. Let's go back and examine it for itself. So we're up to Lamed Vav Amid Aleph, Gufa, a little above the halfway point. Gufa, we learned previously, and again, we always explain Gufa to mean before we brought it in ancillary, we didn't bring it as the main source. Gufa, now we're going to analyze it for itself. Gufa means itself. Gufa. Rabbi Yochanan, Hakol tzrichin das, everything needs das, chutz min mechusa kapara, with the exception of mechusa kapara. Why? Shari Adam may be carbon al banav, al benaisav hakatanim. A person can go ahead and bring karbanos what from his children. Okay, that's the din. Now, it doesn't say it anywhere in the Gemara, but it's in the Rishonim, an underlying statement. Fellas, look at me. What are we learning out? We're saying that Heshi can bring a carbon for me. Why? Because you're able to bring a carbon for a cotton. Now, can a cotton have das? Halachically, as smart as he is, he can't have das. We don't view him as a bar das. An adult is a bar das. So I can say a very simple svara. Ein loimdim efsha, misha'i efsha. I can't learn out someone who has the capacity to do something from someone who doesn't. But Rabbi Yochanan is. That's exactly what he's doing. How do you know, Mechusik Purim, even an adult, you could bring a carbon on their behalf? Because you could bring it on behalf of a cotton. So you see, Rabbi Yochanan is learning Efsha, the adult who can, Misha'i Efsha, the cotton who cannot. So, in other words, that underpins this whole Gemara, that this concept of what? Of learning out, Efsha, Efsha, Misha'i Efsha. Guys, you got it? You got it? You good? Okay. So now, says Rabbi Yochanan, we learn out from cotton, Elameyato. Now, if you're going to tell me, Yoni, we're up to Lamed Vav Amid Aleph. We're up to a little before the half a point says Gufa, and we're down a few lines beyond that. Now, Elameyato, guys, watch. The way I'm learning. Elameyato, if you're going to tell me you can learn out, Efsha, Mishi'i Efsha, you can learn out when it's possible to do it. From someone who's not possible to do it, Yavi Adam Chatas Chelev al Chaveiro. Now, what's a Chatas Chelev? We've been through this many times, but as many times as we go through it, a Chatas Chelev is a classic Chatas. A Chatas is brought any Aveira that I be Chayiv Koris, right? B'shoigeg, I'm going to bring a, why Chatas Chelev? So we saw a rush early in the Masechta, because it was very easily to be over on Chelev. It was around. That was a lot. Think about it. You could eat Chelev. It's in the animal. It's available in the animal. If you don't do a proper nikkur, it's possible for you to eat Chelev. Right, guys, we don't eat chayil. We sell from the 13th rib beyond. We sell. When you hear the term filet mignon, it's never filet mignon. No, it's not cost effective to be able to go ahead and get a nasha and the chaylev out. So all we do is, that's why you never have a T-bone steak, a sirloin steak. These cuts of meat that are in the animals, they're from the rump of the animal, different parts of the animal. Filet mignon literally is from that part of the animal. So we don't. So chaylev, it's very interesting. It's chatas chaylev because that would be the predominant chayiv karis that people would bring, says the Rush, because chaylev was found. It was there. Some of the other stuff is just, go through the 36, right? Living with your sister, I'm saying that eating chaylev, living with the sister are both karis. Which one is more common, right? So I'm saying that's what's called chatas chaylev. Fascinating. Okay, so now let's get this. So you want to learn efsha from efsha. Good. So if that's the case, let's learn the following. I should be able to bring a chatas chaylev of my friend. Shekain adam maybe al ishtay shaita, kid Rabbi Yehuda, like we saw yesterday. In other words, we asked yesterday, what about Zeis Teres Hayoledes? So he said he can bring a carbon yoledes for what? For his wife. She's a shaita. Good. So now what? A shaita is like a cotton. It's efsha, good. So just like a man can bring a chatas for what? For his shaita wife, who adin he should be able to bring for his friend. Efsha, his friend who could do it himself. Misha'i efsha for the woman who can't do it. Just like by the cotton, you're learning out what? We're learning out Mechusik Purim das from cotton, and cotton can't, but yet you're learning it out. So who adin? Isha shaita can't bring a chatas. So I'll learn how to chatas chaylev. That's the Morris Kasha. It's Gavaldic Kasha. So and that Allah Rav Lasa, if someone goes ahead and does that, lo yasa klum. So obviously, what you don't learn out Efsha Mashiach. The kasha on Rabbi Yochanan says the morning. Ish the shaita echidan. 1 second, the guys, we're going to move the kasha. What's the havamina? What korban is he, guys? What's the kasha? He's bringing a chatas chayla for who? His wife, who's a shaita. Yeah. Where do you have the possibility that a woman who's a shaita can bring a chatas chayla? She eats chayla. What's the halacha? Pata. Anything she does, she's a shaita. Shaita, she's a shaita. A shaita, cherish shaita v'cotton throughout Shas, or what we call the chashu. Throughout Shas is pata. So you're not going to have a hekatimsa, guys, of a chatas chaylev. So what chatas does it mean? Yoledes. What's a yoledes? Because the kippurim. The nail is the geshmak. Very good. So, says the Gemara. So ishtai shaita echidami. You want to learn out what chatas chaylev, right? Ishtai. What are you talking about? Ida achla kashi shaita. If she ate it when she was disarranged, and lav bas karbani, she's not in the ballpark. She's pata. Oh, I'll give you another case. The ida achla kashi pikachas. She ate it. She ate the chayla when she was normal, and as a result, she's chayv chatas vinishtatis, and then she lost it. She got deranged. So and then she gets normal again. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, Amar Rabbi Vo, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. If a person goes ahead, eats chaylev, separates the carbon to bring vinishtata, and then he loses it. Because of vinishtata, and then he gets it back, meaning he loses it, meaning he doesn't lose the carbon. He loses his mind. He loses his mind, and then what? He regains his mind. Puzzle. We have a rule of thumb, guys. Once you're out of the ballpark, you ain't getting back in. Once you're out, you're not getting back in. So even though initially she was in, when she lost her marbles, at that point in time she's out. She went back in again. Fine, it's good. Doesn't make a difference. In other words, I don't have a case of chatas chaylev by isha shaita. I said, what does it mean a man can bring for isha shaita? What can he bring? Chatas yoledes. Because I used to say yoledes. Lots of yoledes, guys. You don't need das because the kippurim. Bam. So therefore, what kasha on Rabbi Yochanan. It's possible to learn out efsha mishiyi efsha. I can learn out an adult from a cotton, just like a cotton. You can bring for a zav cotton. You can bring a carbon. Who did what? An adult. You can bring the carbon. So far he's held serve. So far Rabbi Yochanan is held serve. Elamiyata. If you tell me learning out efsha mishiyi efsha, yavi adam pesach al chaver. Okay, what do we know about the Korban Pesach, guys? We know Masechet Pesachim. I know we know the Korban Pesach is brought on Yudalin in the afternoon, right? It had to be oichlim and amenuya, right? You had to be counted in. In other words, you can't show up at the Seder. That's one of the questions of the year. It's called Dichman Yetzav Yecho. What are you talking about? You got to be invited. Called Dichman Yetzav Yusach, right? Anyone who doesn't have the Korban Pesach, how can you be part of the Korban Pesach? You won't count it in. I and your any Haggadah. And so you had to be counted in, yeah? So what's the case over here? A person, Elamiyat, if that's the case, let's firize. Elamiyata, if you tell me you learn out efsha mashiach efsha, yavi adam pesach al chaveroi. A person should be able to bring a carbon pesach for his friend. You know why? Shkein adam mevi al banav al benoisav hakatanim. They don't have das. Efsha. You can learn. So I should be able to, just like I can bring a carbon pesach for them, I should be able to bring a carbon pesach for you. Allah Rabbi Laza, hifish pesach al chavero liyasa klum. So in other words, we're questioning that. We're questioning that. So Rabbi Zera says, Rabbi Zera, sell the base avos lavda araisa. Sell the base avos is not the araisa. Meaning to be counted in for a cotton is not the araisa. It's not pshat. In other words, it's not a metzias of a case. Learn that. In other words, that you. It's not pshat that you're creating like minuyav. You don't need them to be minuyan. You don't. In other words, you can bring for a cotton. They don't have to be counted in at all. They don't. It's not pshat that you can count for them. They're not countable. So therefore, it's not a good sushta whatsoever, right? Okay, let's see the Ran on that point. Rabbi Zera, 2 lines from the bottom, 2 lines where it gets wide. Sell the base of Islav deraisa. La'olam b'chihai donin, guys. B'chihai donin meaning we will learn out efsha mishi'i efsha. We'll learn out a regular adult from a cut. Umiu mi pesach loimatzi lemeidek. Pesach you cannot learn it out from. In other words, what do you want to learn out? Just like cotton is the efsha. And by Pesach, you don't have to wait. So to efsha, a regular person, you could also bring for. No, it's not true. The celibate always love the raisa. Why? The minat Torah ain't a katalim surichim limanais biseh in b'nei chabura. A cotton doesn't have to be counted in. In other words, it's not like I have to be a shliach and count my son in. He doesn't have to be counted at all. He doesn't exist. He can eat from the current Pesach. The afa gav dein Pesach nechal elamenuyov. Even though Pesach's only eaten by people who are counted in, hanimili beruyin lihimanos. Those are right to be counted. Avakanim delav b'nei hachi less lunba. So, guys, what did you want to learn? You want to learn out? Let's learn out Efsha, Misha'i Efsha. Let's learn out just like you can bring a Korban Pesach for a cotton. You should be able to bring a Korban Pesach for your friend. It's not a good sushtel. The reason you can bring for your cotton is because it doesn't make a difference. But your friend who does, who needs some luyav, that's the thing. Okay. In other words, it's similar to the chatas. The Isha Shaita, there's no chatas. There is no Korban Pesach by the kid. There's no din, there's no halacha that you can extrapolate. So again, he's held serve. Rabbi Yochanan is held serve that you can learn out Linyan Mechusik Purim. You can learn out from cotton that what you don't need das and the mela, you don't need shlichus, and everything's good. Everything's good. Okay. Says the Gemara Vaita. Now, how do you know it's not the raisa? Just how do you know that for guys, for kids, it's not the raisa? But not a Mishnah in Masechta Pesachim. What does it say? A guy says to his kids, listen, how many shoicheres at Pesach? I'm going to shech the Korban Pesach. Al mi sheyalo mikem rishon Yerushalayim. The first one, because you might remember, guys, the sugi of Breira, the ones who get there first. It's Huvar Davul Mafreya retroactively. That's the one you shechted it for. This is why we bring it in. Anyway, al mi sheyalo mikem Yerushalayim. Nakiven shehichnis rishon roishay v'rubai. As soon as the first one gets there, zacha b'chelkai, he's zacha in his chelik. Umizake es achiv imay, and his brothers get schlepped. Now, 1 second. The amit celebrates the raisa al bisra koi is standing over geshacht and a meat umizake lahu that people didn't even get counted there. So obviously, in other words, if you need a limenuya, it doesn't work. They how can I be in Yerushalayim? They didn't make it yet. I'm zeicha for them. Shech the carbon, and they show up. Hi, guess what? Ella must be what? They don't count. So therefore, if they don't count, why did he say in the first place, I'm shechting for the people to get there first? Mashma, they have to be there. And the father said, you want to go ahead and teach them to be mizaris them in mitzvahs. They should go ahead and be and quickly zrizim akdim mitzvahs to go ahead and do mitzvahs quickly as possible. And therefore, that's why he told them. And they're all in the ballpark. They're all young kids. They're in the ballpark. You don't have to check. They don't have to be counted. And the reason he gave them this impetus is to motivate them to do mitzvahs quickly. That the motivation was to do mitzvahs quickly. Guess what? The girls beat the boys. The nimsu benois zrizais ubonim shvelim. And you find the girls were zaris and the sons were shvelim. They were delayed, right? The Ram brings what's the raya? Look at the bottom round, guys. The nimsa benois zrizais, the loy ketani benois zachu. It doesn't say there was zachu. It says zarzu. Alma leiniskaven el lazaris bolvad. He only wanted the zarzes to get there, but not necessarily mizaka. Okay, that's midvarenu. We have an interesting sugya, very, very interesting sugya. A man is able to go ahead and bring a carbon v'chusik kippurim. Why? Because there's no shlichus there. Because you don't need das. You don't need das again. Because the whole purpose is to get you to eat kachim. It's not a carbon that you need das for. That it can be shliach for to bring more. Therefore, you do it. Where do you learn it from? You learn it from cotton. Cotton's efsha. You learn that efsha mashi efsha. That's the underlying site of the sugya. We questioned it a few times. Rabbi Yochanan held serve, and now we're going to deal with the first din of the Mishnah. Let's go back to the Mishnah on the Amid Beis last night. The first line: the Torah, a person's mudanam mechaveroi, right? I'm mudanam from heshi. I'm able to take a heshi truma toimesh trumasai. I go ahead and take truma for heshi. For my soisav l'daitoi according to his das. Very cryptic. What exactly does that mean? Okay, let's go back, guys. Why do we remember? Just why we remember. If you're mudahana, can you go ahead and pay his chayv? Can you go ahead and take a shekel? Can you turn his aveda? What was the side? It's not direct hana. It's not direct hana. It's groma. It's indirect. We machadish that what we call benefit. The Torah doesn't. The halacha doesn't call it that way, right? So as long as it's indirect, it's okay. So over here, the question is, what's the mitzias of this case where you took off truma? Now, can I go into Yehuda's field and take off his truma? There's no way in the world I could do that. I can't do that. I'm not able to do that. One of the soidis of shlichus, guys, is gam atem, l'rabba shluchachem. Gemara in Kedushin, the second parak, that we learn shlichus from. I mentioned this a few times. Truma is one of the sources for shlichus. How do you know shluchus shalom kamaisai? It says atem gam atem, l'rabba shluchachem. They're like you. That okay. So if no one tells you what to do, you're not able to do it. Not able to do it. Okay. So here's Gemara has a shiloh like this. Says the Gemara, iboiluhu, amid beis. If someone takes off from his own on his friend, do you need his das or not? Okay, what's happening over here? I have my field. We have Heshi's fields over there. I go ahead, I separate Truma for Heshi. Mechanically, I can do that. I separate from my stuff. Is that a schus v'heshi? Absolutely. You saved yourself some bucks because I'm taking up truma. You have now your complete, right? You have your complete amount. I saved you some money. So on one hand, guys, we have a rule in Shas, zachin sha'adam shaloi b'fanav, right? You can be zach for a person shaloi b'fanav. So therefore, not in front of heshi, I go take it off. It's a schus for him. He saved himself a few bucks. Great. There's another tzad. Maybe heshi wants to do the mitzvah himself. So there the Rosh says that would be a chayv. So no, you won't be able to go ahead and do it. So it's done in the Shiloh. What? Should you give it to a client? So I give it to my client. We'll see. Do you need das or not? Do I need Heshi to know that I'm taking it off to him? Now, do we say Kim the schus uloi, it's a schus v'hesh. Why? Because he'll save himself a few bucks. Like tzarech das. I don't need him to give me das. Dilma mitzvah dilehi, it's his mitzvah. V'nichalei lemavdei, and he wants to do his own mitzvah, and therefore it's a shtickle chai for him. So what exactly is the mitzvah? What's the case? So Tashma, Toirim es Trumaisav Mishnah. So guys, what we're going to do is we don't know Pshat na Mishnah. We're going to figure out Pshat na Mishnah, and from Pshat na Mishnah we place the Shaila. Good. Again, what does the Mishnah say? If a person is mudah enough another person, he can't give the person anah, and he does give the person anah, but take off truma, it's okay. That's what it says. It's the mudah anah, the mother, and the mudah, heshi is the mudah, meaning heshi can have enough from me. I go ahead and take off the heshi. Guess what? It works. What are the possibilities in our Mishnah? In our Shaila is I'm taking off Mishaloi on his. But the Mishnah, guys, what's the case? So there's four variables. I'm taking off in Heshi from Heshi's, either with Heshi's das or without his das. I'm taking off from mine and Heshi's with his das or without his das. Who's das? His das or my das. So let's go through the sugya. Says the Gemara. Well, we place the Shaila. What does the Mishnah say? Toshma, come in here to be placed the Shaila that a person's tired from his own, whether it's whether it's good truma or not. But my asking, what exactly is the Mishnah speaking about? Ilema, take out the word the mem. Ilema balakri, and take out the word shell al balakri. If it's speaking about you're taking from the balakris on the balakris, in other words, you're taking from Heshi's thing. Uladaitoi deman. Whose das is it? Ilem uladaitoi delay. Meaning, I go into Heshi's field, I go over to I go over to there, and with my das, min shav yishliach. You can't do that. You're all maskim. I can't go into your field and separate truma from your. Hey, hello, what are you doing here? You'll shoot me for trespassing. I can't do that. So that can't be the case. It can't be my das. Ella, what must it be? Ella l'daitel balakrik. What's the problem with that? Heshi's telling me to take off truma from his thing. He's having I'm doing a shlichus. So you got a problem. If I'm taking off Heshi stuff from Heshi, the Mishnah says l'daitoit, there's das. The two variables, the das note doesn't work. If it's my das, what are you doing? I have no right to do it. If it's Heshi's das, meaning Heshi told me to do it, I'm a shliach. That's direct hana. That's direct hana. So therefore, that can't be the case. That can't be the case. He's giving mana. So why? Because the Kavish Shlichus he's doing a Shlichus. Ella, what must it be? Mishaloi al shel hakri. In other words, it must be, I'm not taking it off from Heshi's pile, I'm taking it from my pile, on Heshi's pile, which is our Shaila, right? Now we lined it up. So it must be, I'm taking it from my pile and Heshi. Now, Uladaitoi demand. Okay, so I'm taking off my pile and Heshi, but who's das? Ilay Miladaitoi de Balakri. If it's Heshi's das, Heshi knows, Heshi said, Lays, go ahead, take off Truma for me. So I take it off. I did a shlichus. What's that called? I know. I can't. Heshi can't have enough for me. Hakamani elolav. It must be what? L'daite denavshe. Right? It must be that what I'm taking off with my das. Right? And v'amrit. Let's change the gears a little bit over here. V'amrit. If you're going to say hatoyim mishaloya shel chaveroi sarich das, kamahani le elolav ain't sarich das. So we push to the shaila. Guys, watch. Guys, look at me. Look at me. What's that shaila? If in a regular case, forget the Hanal case, if I take off Truma from what? If I take off Truma from my, right? If I take off Truma, right? Do you need das or not? What's the shaila? If it's a din in schia, you don't need das. If it's or maybe he wants to do the mitzvah himself. So now, we want to be patient. Do you need das or not? So here, let's be patient the shaila. Our Mishnah clearly states that when you make a neder that a person shouldn't have enough from you, you can take off truma l'daitoi. We said it can't be speaking about the person, the mader, the one who made the neder from the mudas kri directly, because in the manav shachar doesn't work. If it's his own das, right? If it's its own das, who made your shliach to take it off? If it's not your das, but it's the balaboy's das, the balakri's das, then it's shlichus. Can't do it. So therefore, it must be we're taking off what from mine on his. Now, mine on his. So now, if I'm doing it for his das, right? Then what? Then I'm doing shlichus. So it must be I'm doing it shlomi das. If you push the shayla, you don't need das. So it says the Gemara. It said, "How come elalav ain't sarach das?" So therefore, we push the shayla, guys. It must be that you don't need das. By process elimination, we got a pshat. Now that you understand that, we will destroy it. Lo'ilam, Mishal Balakri, Al Balakri. Going back to the original one, guys. What's the case? I'm taking Heshis from Heshis, yeah? But what's the problem? The manav shachar doesn't work. If it's shloimi das, I don't have rishus. If it's das, it's hana. Anyway, Kedama Rava, but Omer Heshi says, Kol haroitza litroim, yavai vid litroim. And he says that somewhere else in the next piece of Gemara. Hachanami ba'omer, he says, Kol haroitza yitroim, yavai vid yitroim. Pirish. If Heshi says out loud, anyone who wants to come take off truma, he didn't appoint me in particular shliach. He just said aloud, whoever one does it, does it. It's not enough of a shliach to make me giving him hana. It's not enough of a shliach to make me giving him hana, but it is enough shliach to go ahead and make up truma. In other words, it's a kind of hybrid shliach. In other words, to make me chayiv, make me give him direct hana, he would have to be mimana me, appoint me a full-fledged shliach. But since he didn't verbalize and make me a shliach, he said anyone who wants to can come do it. So I'm not a full-fledged shliach le'inyan giving him hana. I am enough of a shliach to remove the problem of going ahead and tarim shlemi das. So that seems to be the middle ground, and therefore you can't be pashat shayla. You can't be pashat shayla. What the din is. It's a long run here. It speaks out different in yonim about. Let's just do a little bit. Hachanami. Let's do this one. Hachanami. Ba'im writes a little miyav right side. Ichiyai gavna mahani legabe truma. Why? Why does it help for truma? Till begilui das bilachud the nichale sage. In other words, just as gilu das that enough that a person to take off. That's enough. That's enough for truma. In other words, guys, it seems like this. By truma, you don't need a full-fledged shliach. You just need a shtickle das. Since the guy said aloud, anyone who wants to do it, that's enough. It's a gilu das that he wants someone to take it off, and that's all. But he didn't go and point to anyone. And Lagabe going ahead and being mudar hana, it's not considered hana. Why? He didn't go ahead and point him as shliach openly. Openly is direct hana. Okay? Openly is direct hana. Okay. And then he goes off and discusses different lashinas. But I think the crux of it is when you go ahead and you can't go to someone's field and take it off without the guy's knowledge. Doesn't help. Good. What does the word kol haroitz litrim do? It makes it that it's with whatever you do is with my knowledge, but there's no shlichus. In other words, you don't need for a guy to take off truma. You don't need a shliach. You just can't be anti. Going ahead saying kol haroitz litrim is enough. No, whoever does it, I'm good with it. I'm not making you a shliach. I'm just not anti what you're doing. Masha'en came by mudah hana. So therefore, if I'm mudah hana, it works. Because mudah hana has to be direct. It has to be you appointed me, and I'm giving you hana. It's a nice skillet between the two. And the round is beautiful. I understand a little bit now than I did before. That's good. Very nice lumdus. Let's do very lumdus perik. Weiter. Okay, a new shaila. Says the Gemara. Now we know something that's called toivus hana, meaning toivus hana is that you can give listen, I got a grandson who's a kohen. My daughter, right? My daughter married a kohen. I got a grandson who's a kohen. You know what? He's a little down on his luck. I give you a penny or two. You go give me a truma. Yeah, no problem. That's called toivus hana. In other words, I can't keep the truma, but you can choose who to give it to. That's called toivus hana. So in this case, right? What did I miss to say? Yeah, I took off truma for kol haroitz litrim boy term, right? So I took up truma for Heshi. Good. Who has the toivus hana? The Toirim, myself, or the Balakri Heshi? Who has the toivus hana? Who decides where that truma goes to? That's the Gemara Shaila. Who has toivus hana? Who has the rights to give this truma to somebody? That's the Shaila.
He doesn't even know you're doing it.
What he does? We said kol haroitz litrim. Midaitai, but it's das. That's called daita. He knows. He finds out afterwards. Not a big deal. Now, so he has an upgeshate thing, and I have truma. Whose rishus is in regarding what? Regarding giving it away. Boy mine Rav Yomi and Rav Zeva. Hatoyrim mishaloi al shal chaveroi. Someone who takes off truma from his own on his friend. Toivus hana shalmi. Who does the toivus hana belong to? Mi amrinon ilav peri deheyach mi mitakna kri dahahu. If not for my peris, would Heshi's pile been mitukan? I dilma ilav kari dehu. If not for Heshi's pile, like havi peri that had done truma, my peris would be truma, which is the tafel. So Amalei. So he told him. So Rav Zera told Rav Yirmiyah Amakra. It's called Tfuas Arecha. This is by Ma'aser Sheni. It's called Tfuas Arecha ben Asata. So Tfuas Arecha is the one who wants the Tfuah. So the L'chayru being Paishet Heshi. Being Paishet Zaracha, it would mean Heshi the Balakri. We're going to slug that up. Hey, today. Parimesh Trumaisav. That's my Sraisav. You're toying your Truma and your Maisris. L'daitoy. Amishna. The Amit Toivus and the Balakri. And if you're going to say the Toivus and goes to Heshi, Kamanhanile. He's having Hana. Guys, he's having Hana. He's having direct Hana. I separated, and now he can give it whatever he wants. He has direct Hana. So Elishmami no Toivus no delay. It must be the Toivus belongs to the Toivim. The Toivus is me. So Ami Ami light. Mishal Balakri, Al Shal Balakri. Maybe it's speaking where it's not mine. Maybe there's no the Torah and the Balakri are the same guy. In other words, when's the Shaila, guys? When I'm Torah in my Rishus, my Kri, on Heshi's property. Why not some Torah from Heshi's on Heshi's? Clearly, Heshi has the Torah on, right? Mm-hmm. Good. So, no, that case in our Mishnah is speaking what? Like we said, it's speaking the Balakri. Well, I told the Balakri. In other words, the way he sets the nine, right? It's speaking, I'm taking off from Heshi and Heshi's Kri. You had a kasha. How could I take it off from Monoshach? If he doesn't know about it, he didn't make me a shliach. If he does know about it, then I am a shliach. I can't do it. We said Heshi said out loud, "Kol haroitz litrim, you have a v'yitrim." So therefore, he's megala. Anyone can do it. I did it. But einachinami, there's no bearing on a shaila who it goes to because there is no toirim in Balkri. They're the same person. I mean, I physically did it, but there's no shaila that it blives by Heshi the ability to go ahead and take it off. So we weren't placed the shaila yet. Tashma. Oh. The Amar Rebbe Avahu, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, we only need one case, guys. Hamagdish Moisav Chaimish. If a person's magdish something, let's say you magdish an animal bamum. If I'm paid it, I have to pay I have to add a chaimish to the pigeon, but another person doesn't. The person who is meschapa, he can make the tamura. The person gets kapara. And what do we need? If a person's tayrim mishloi al sheina shloi, so the tayrim has tayvus hana. Okay, so let's go back and let's go back in time. What was the machlokes between Chanan and the Rabbanon? Man goes overseas, guy, good Samaritan, goes ahead, takes care of his wife. Guy shows back up. Guy goes to the good Samaritan, says, pay up. Says, Chanan, you put your money, I'll carry that fee. You lost it, right? Says the Rabbanon, you got to pay. Good, you have to pay. With that in mind, our Mishnah, L'chaira, when I took off a Heshi, I took up Truma for Heshi, right? I was Masalik the coin from him. I took the creditor, like guys, you took away a creditor, right? You took away what? You took away the mortgage banker. You took away the gizbar, right? Isn't that the same thing over here? You take right. So the chayre that would only be going according to Hanan and not the Chachamim. So let's see Tais. Let's see the Ran. The Ran brings in a Rashba. It's a nice one to know. Where's the Ran? Ella. Okay, the 2 lines down. Where the lines get thin, 3 lines down. Ella, the second Ella. Ella, Adaita the Nafshe, the Toirim. It must be that what? That the Toirim, I who took it off, it's not considered enough a Heshi, even the Medaita of it, since I'm doing it on my own das. And I'm not giving Heshi anything. Because the bottom line Heshi is being Marviach over here. He doesn't have to take off what? Truma. So says the Rabbanon, Efsha, the Legora mi Pareya Chayvai, the Asal Rabbanon, Harash Bazal. Says the Rashba, I'm Mishnah of a Torah Trumasai, Al Chaverai, right? That Mudahana, that you could take off Truma, that only goes to Chanan, who that calls it Mavriya Chari. You're removing but the Rabbanon will be Asa. So that's what he wants to learn. Now, we just did a sugya, fellas. When I took off from Heshi, the Truma, right? Who gets the Taivas now? Myself or Heshi? I do. The last line, the Toirim has the right. Good. Says the Ran beautifully now. Says the Ran the following. The Linira says the Ran, Afil Rabbanan Shari. Even the Rabbanan would hold its mutter to go ahead and take off Truma. Why? The Kivin, the Asik Kaman. Since we're going to conclude later on, which we just did, the Toirim Mishaloi al Shal Chaveroi, Taivas Nashal Toirim, when I take off my Truma from my crop on Heshis, what? It's the Taivas is mine. Ikla Meimar, the Toirim Losses Loisei Koyen Shu Reitzim Miskavin. When I took it off, my kavana wasn't to give Heshi Hana. Why is my kavana? To have the Truma to give it to whoever I want to. But I did an Afshi Kav, and therefore I did it for myself. I Heshi had Hana. That's not direct Hana. The direct Hana is that I can give it to whoever I want. Heshi is the ancillary Hana. And throughout the Sugya, ancillary Hana, and direct Hana, what is. Thanks everyone for listening.